everyone. Very good afternoon and welcome back to CGB Mentors. I hope I am properly audible and visible. आवाज आ रही है properly? Just tell me in yes or no and then we shall start the session. Okay, great. So yes, now I'll answer to your question. ठीक है, just wait for a second. Let me give the introduction and then I'll answer for your question. ठीक है. So we are going to do this particular exercise from October till December, right? So I have chosen some 50 questions for that. Now, what would be the part covered in these 50 questions? So, when I talk about specifically for your SEBI examination, in this examination, regulatory body news is something that you can obviously do not skip, ठीक है? If you will see the phase 1 syllabus, आपके phase 1 का जो syllabus है, there they have specifically mentioned कि financial awareness के topics will be included in your exam MCQs. ठीक है? Financial awareness में what kind of financial awareness that they want is, what I have understood is regulatory body की आपकी news, some ESI finance content, right? And a bit about banking, not too much, but a bit about banking, whatever is relevant from the angle of RBI, because RBI is the most important regulatory body. ठीक है? Most important तो नहीं कहना चाहिए, SEBI के एग्जाम में RBI को most important कह देंगे तो, but anyway, you understand that the importance of RBI, what it is, right? So this is going to be the structure. So now I hope I have answered for your question. Yes. Now for the GA part specifically, I am coming up with these 50 questions. Masoom ma'am will also come up with other questions that will be covering your national and the other important news items, right? So that's how we have segregated it. Finance related part I will take care of, and the other part of GA that includes your national level news which does not have anything to do with finance will be taken care by Masoom ma'am. Is that okay? ठीक है अब ये? So as I have told you that what is the objective, now next thing is how we are going to cover it. So do you have to cover anything else in this particular duration? The answer is no. October to December 2025, whatever is there in the regulatory body related news items, I have covered each and every news item, so you don't have to do anything extra. आपको कुछ भी extra करने का जरूरत नहीं है, right? This will be a kind of revision for you where we will be watching that what has happened in these 3 months and what we need to do. So with that, I hope that this is the enough introduction, and we are going to move forward with question number 1. Let us see that. If you have got any kind of doubt, any further doubt, please mention your doubts and I'll see to it. So question number 1, which one of the following best explains the rationale behind SEBI's decision to expand the definition of strategic investor in the REITs and InvITs framework? So first thing first, what we understand out of this question is that SEBI has taken the decision to expand the definition of strategic investor in the REITs and InvITs framework. ठीक है? Real estate investment trust, infrastructure investment trust, what they do is they take the money from investor, ठीक है? Just like a mutual fund, they take the money from investor and then they invest in either real estate or infrastructure projects. ठीक है? That's what the intention of these kind of funds are. ठीक है? वो intention है. तो अब आपने क्यों किया ऐसे? To allow the entities classified as QIBs to be recognized as strategic investor, to reduce the institutional participation, restricting the status, permitting the retail investors to participate as strategic investor, to replace the strategic investor category with the FPIs. Now over here in this particular question, बिचारे हमारे जो retail investors हैं, they do not have that much money. उन बेचारों के पास इतना पैसा ही नहीं है. And whenever I talk about expanding the definition. You wanted to include the QIBs also. QIBs को क्यों include करना चाहते थे? They have got the money. उनके पास पैसा है भाई. And if you are not taking them in the definition of an investor for the REITs and INVITs, that is completely your loss. ठीक है, वो पूरा का पूरा आपका loss है. So yes, good Satyarth, Abhigyan and me. That is the correct question answer. ठीक है. So what you wanted to do? So SEBI has amended the definition of strategic investor. And now this is very important to understand that who is a strategic investor. ठीक है, institutions like public financial institution, pension funds, provident funds, AIF, state industrial development corporation, family trust, intermediaries registered with a net worth of more than 500 crores, middle, upper and top layer NBFCs also. Remember that, middle, upper and top layer NBFCs also. I'm not talking about the base layer. मैंने यहाँ पे base layer के बारे में बात नहीं की है. And I am also talking about the intermediaries who have been registered with the SEBI with a net worth of more than 500 crores. ठीक है, we are giving you a title of a strategic investor. You should be having some money with you. ठीक है, आपके पास पैसा तो होना चाहिए ना strategic investor का title लेने के लिए. So that's what this question is all about. You can be asked about the strategic investor definition also. I hope you will remain very clear about it. With effect from January 1st, 2026, any investment made by the mutual funds or the special investment funds in the REIT shall be considered as an investment in equity related instruments. ये हम बहुत बार कर चुके हैं. Now we will do question number 2. According to RBI revised direction, a bank may maintain a current account or overdraft account without any restriction in cases where the aggregate exposure of banking system to the customer is less than 2 crore, 15 crore, 20 crore, 3 crore or 10 crore. देखो यहाँ पे what RBI said was, just a second. You remember this particular news? So in this particular news item, what happened कि RBI ने कहा कि हम कुछ accounts को transaction accounts बोलेंगे and the other accounts we'll call them as collection accounts. अब ऐसा क्यों बोला? ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए ना that you are taking the loan from bank A and then using that particular loan to repay बैंक बी. ठीक है, एक बैंक से पैसे लेके दूसरे बैंक को पे करना. That should not happen. So RBI wants to see that what is the total loan that you have taken from the banking system. आप ये जो लोन और उधार लेने वाला जो काम है, कैश, क्रेडिट, ओवरड्राफ्ट, लाइक लोन एटसेट्रा, you have to take from one bank. ठीक है, हम आपके बैंक को रिप्रेजेंटेटिव भी बना देंगे. Okay, but the other banks they have to act as a collection account. बाकी के बैंक्स कैसे एक्ट करेंगे? कलेक्शन अकाउंट्स की तरह एक्ट करेंगे. They can only open collection accounts. ठीक है, वो ऐसा लोन वोन देने वाला काम नहीं करेंगे. Now how this helps us? This helps us to see that what is the loan that you have taken from the entire banking system, ताकि कल को कोई फ्रॉड ना हो सके. ठीक है, so many frauds we have taken, we have seen financial frauds, तो वो ना हो सके उसके लिए ये स्टेप लिया गया है. So now I have got just one answer for this, and yes, good Satyarth, right? So RBI has provided the greater flexibility for the banks who are maintaining the cash, credit, current account and the overdraft account. ठीक है, if the bank is maintaining the current account and OD account और जो बेचारा आपका borrower है उसका aggregate exposure to the banking system is less than 10 crores, तो allowed है. ठीक है, तुमको कहाँ जहां भी account खुलवाना है आप खुलवाओ. But if that is not the case, then we are going to see कि if that exceeds 10 crore, ठीक है, other customers जिनका exposure to the banking system is more than 10 crores, so for them we are going to see that there will be a bank, that particular bank will be having minimum 10% share in that particular what you can say borrowers loans. ठीक है, अगर ऐसा है then that particular bank only may maintain the current account or OD account. Now I shall explain this in easy terms. मान लीजिए there is a particular person called as Mr. A. Mr. A has taken 100 crore rupees worth of loan from the entire banking system. I'm not talking just about one bank. मैं एक बैंक के बारे में बात नहीं कर रही हूँ. I'm talking about the entire banking system. Now out of this 100 crore, Axis Bank has given let's say 20 crores. ठीक है, Axis Bank ने 20 करोड़ रुपए दे रखे हैं. तो now we have given the power to Axis Bank that only you can open the transaction account. Transaction account कौन सा account? This कैश क्रेडिट, ओवरड्राफ्ट, इस तरीके के लोन देने वाले अकाउंट सिर्फ आप ओपन कर सकते हैं. The other banks can only open the collection accounts, right? So I hope now we are good with this particular question. Let's talk about question number 3. Same question is there जो मैंने अभी आपको explain किया है, but different news is there. ठीक है. Now out of these particular regulations there are certain accounts जो कि exempt हैं. Will you please see this particular question and try to answer this? Now, under RBI norms, the paragraph restricts banks from maintaining the current overdraft account for the customers with banking system exposure of 10 crores or more unless the bank has at least 10% share in the borrower's exposure. Now, which of the following accounts are exempt from this? Now, I know for your SEBI examination, this particular question seems very, very long to you. Don't worry. In the further questions, we have reduced the length. ठीक है, ये एक अकेला ऐसा question है जो थोड़ा सा बड़ा सा और भारी सा लगता है. Otherwise, the rest of the questions are easy ones, so just wait for it. ठीक है. So yes, accounts under FEMA including the FEMA compliance accounts, accounts required under a statute or by instructions of financial sector, accounts of entities regulated by financial sector regulator, collection accounts not meeting the 10% exposure criteria, current accounts where the bank share is less than 10% of options. ठीक है. Now over here in this particular question I am talking about which of the following accounts are exempted from these particular provisions. ठीक है. तो अब मैंने ऐसा तो कुछ पढ़ा नहीं. This is not something that I have already talked about. ठीक है, इसलिए तो मैंने ऐसा कुछ पढ़ा नहीं. Now question number 3 का आंसर किसने दिया है भाई? all of the above. ऐसा नहीं करना है. दिस इज नॉट ऑल ऑफ द अबव, राइट? हमेशा इस तरीके के क्वेश्चंस का जवाब ऑल ऑफ द अबव नहीं होता है, राइट? द करेक्ट ऑप्शन ओवर हियर इज 1 2 3. दिस इज समथिंग आई हैव रेड वेरी स्पेसिफिकली. ठीक है, व्हाई वी हैव टॉक्ड अबाउट दिस, हियर मी आउट वेरी वेरी केयरफुली. हम किसके बारे में यहाँ पे बात कर रहे हैं? सो दिस FEMA accounts required under any law, एंटिटीज रेगुलेटेड बाय फाइनेंशियल सेक्टर रेगुलेटर्स, ये तो ऑलरेडी वेल रेगुलेटेड हैं. क्या बोल रही हूं मैं? ये तो ऑलरेडी वेल रेगुलेटेड हैं, तो इनके ऊपर ये रेस्ट्रिक्शंस लगा के आपको क्या ही फायदा मिलेगा? यू आर नॉट गोइंग टू गेट एनी काइंड ऑफ बेनिफिट बाय पुटिंग द रेस्ट्रिक्शंस ऑन दीज काइंड ऑफ अकाउंट्स. दैट इज व्हाई दीज 3 अकाउंट्स हैव बीन स्पेसिफिकली केप्ट आउट. ठीक है, इनको स्पेसिफिकली आउट रखा गया है. इज दैट फाइन? तो all of the above नहीं कहना है हमें. all of the above is not the answer. Now just a second. Moving forward. Rational मैंने बता दिया है, आंसर इज A. ठीक है, और ये restrictions क्यों नहीं लगाए गए हैं? Because these accounts are already well regulated. Now next, as per the latest NABARD Rural Economic Conditions and Sentiment Survey, right, released in the December, what percentage of rural households have reported higher consumption compared to last year? This is not very important. ठीक है, ये बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी नहीं है, but still I have included it because it was there. And as I have promised you that we are going to discuss each and every part of the regulatory body news, that's why I have covered it. ठीक है, but otherwise I feel so that this is not very important. ठीक है, anyway, you have given the correct answer. As per the latest NABARD Rural Economic Conditions and Sentiments, 80% of the rural households have reported higher consumptions compared to the last year. That is something you need to know. Now moving forward to the another important question. So as per the RBI Handbook of Statistics on Indian States released in December 2025, which of the following Indian states leads in the gross state domestic product charts at 45.3 lakh crore? I need answer for this. This is an easy question. Tamil Nadu, UP, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Telangana. आपसे पूछा जा रहा है that which particular state has led the charts whenever we are talking about the gross state domestic product. That means हम किसके बारे में बात कर रहे हैं कि इनमें से कौन सा स्टेट है जिसका domestic production in the territory has been the highest. So that is Maharashtra. ठीक है, okay. Some answers I have got. Yes, Isha Satyarth Abhigyan. That is Maharashtra for us. Always remember, Mumbai is our financial capital. और अगर अब महाराष्ट्र काम नहीं करेगा तो फिर कौन सा स्टेट करेगा? ठीक है, that is something we need to know. Now moving on to the next news item that we had, SEBI recently tweaked its framework to allow issuers to offer zero coupon debt securities at a reduced face value. There are certain key important pointers that I am going to mark. Please सारा ध्यान आपका यहीं रहना चाहिए. So zero coupon debt securities at a reduced face value. What is the minimum face value at which issuers can now issue the debt securities? What is the minimum face value? Good. It is 10,000 rupees. It is 10,000 rupees. Now, for all those who might not have seen the financial current affair that we conduct, hear me out very, very carefully. Yes, Satya, Tisha, correct. B is the correct answer. That is 10,000. What is happening over here? Pehle SEBI ne kya kaha tha? That, okay, we want to develop the debt securities market. So, SEBI said that you can issue the debt securities with a minimum value of 10,000, but the condition is that you need to pay the regular interest. ठीक है, पहले सेबी ने ये कहा कि आपको भाई रेगुलर इंटरेस्ट पे करना पड़ेगा. अमाउंट फेस वैल्यू आपका 10,000 हो सकता है, बट यू नीड टू पे द रेगुलर इंटरेस्ट. देन आफ्टर दैट द मार्केट पार्टिसिपेंट्स, जैसे आप जैसे हम जैसे लोग जो है ना, सब लोगों ने, आप और हम नहीं, बट दी अदर इंडस्ट्री एसोसिएशंस, दोस पीपल सेड कि देखो दिस इज नॉट फेयर. इवन द जीरो कूपन डेट इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स, वहां पे भी तो जीरो कूपन का मतलब क्या हो रहा है, दैट वी आर इशूइंग द सिक्योरिटीज एट डिस्काउंट, बट लेटर ऑन वी आर गिविंग द एंटायर मनी टू यू. सो द डिफरेंस इज द इंटरेस्ट ओनली. ठीक है, डिफरेंस आपका क्या है, वो तो इंटरेस्ट ही है ना. तो इन अ वे वी आर पेइंग इंटरेस्ट टू यू. इफ द इन्वेस्टर वांट्स, व्हाई यू आर नॉट अलाउइंग. ठीक है, इंटरेस्ट तो हम दे रहे हैं, इंटरेस्ट के लिए कब मना कर रहे हैं. सो दैट इज व्हाई नाउ सेबी हैज सेड कि अगर आपको जीरो कूपन भी इंस्ट्रूमेंट इशू करना है तो कर दीजिए, जाइए खुश रहिए. राइट. Now question number 7. So in December 2025, under SEBI's revised framework, the total expense ratio of a mutual fund scheme is combined of 4 components. In this context, which of the following is not a component of total expense ratio? Now listen to me very, very carefully. While you will answer for this particular question, I am going to explain you the concept. Hear me out. So mutual funds क्या होते हैं? Mutual funds are providing you a service. ठीक है, किस तरीके की सर्विस आपको प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं? They are इन्वेस्टिंग ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ यू. क्या कर रहे हैं? आपके बिहाफ पे इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं. सो ऑब्वियसली दे आर गोइंग टू चार्ज अ फी फ्रॉम यू. ठीक है, आपसे एक फीस चार्ज कर रहे हैं. बट सपोज इफ आई हैव टोल्ड यू दैट म्यूचुअल फंड इज चार्जिंग लेट्स से 8% फ्रॉम मी, मुझसे 8% चार्ज कर रहे हैं, एंड आई डोंट नो दैट फॉर व्हाट पर्पस दिस 8% इज. आई डोंट नो अबाउट इट. सो डोंट यू थिंक इट इज अ बिट अनफेयर ऑन द पार्ट ऑफ इन्वेस्टर्स? बाइफिकेशन तो होना चाहिए ना. हम कोई सामान लेने जाते हैं तो हम बिल मांगते हैं कि अरे भैया बाइफिकेशन दो. सो ओवर हियर व्हाट इज नॉट वन ऑफ द कंपोनेंट, सेबी व्हाट सेबी हैज डन, सेबी ने कहा कि नाउ यू विल बी हैविंग द बाइफिकेशंस. यू हैव टू टेल द इन्वेस्टर वेरी वेरी केयरफुली दैट these are the components for which I am charging you. ठीक है, so इसमें से कौन सा component नहीं है? क्या बेस एक्सपेंस रेशियो है? Yes. ब्रोकरेज है? Yes. रेगुलेटरी लेवीज है? Yes. स्टैट्यूटरी लेवीज है? Yes. इनकम टैक्स नहीं है भाई. इनकम टैक्स तुम अपना दोगे, हम क्यों देंगे तुम्हारा? Yes. Good. सत्यार्थ, अभिज्ञान, गोपाल, that is E. Right? So income tax is not one of the component. Base expense fee किसके लिए है? Because see, at the end of the day, mutual funds क्या कर रहे हैं? They are doing the fund management for you. So they will charge the administration fees from you, and that is the base expense ratio. After that, you purchase the securities. ठीक है, और जब भी आप securities को purchase वगैरह करते हैं, you need to pay the brokerage. आपको brokerage pay करनी पड़ती है. So that is also the amount that you are going to charge from the customer. Regulatory levies and statutory levies, what the SEBI is imposing on to you in form of taxes, fees, etc. What the government is imposing on to you, that is also something we are going to include. I hope we are clear with that. Let us move to the next question. So in December 2025, SEBI has introduced the concept of base expense ratio, which will come into effect from April 1, 2026. I hope you will remember this also, that base expense ratio which has been brought in relation to your mutual funds. This is going to come into effect from April 1st, 2026. In this context, which of the following statements are correct? The SEBI has revised the base expense ratio for index funds and exchange traded fund, which has been capped at 1%. SEBI reduced the limit for base expense ratio for fund of funds which are investing more than 65% in equity oriented schemes to 2.1%. SEBI has tightened the limits for both base expense ratio for close ended schemes. Under equity oriented close ended schemes, the limit is 1%. Now in this question there is not much that I need to explain, ठीक है. These are all different kind of schemes of mutual funds. Fund of fund scheme कौन सी होती है? This is the fund which invests in other funds, and then these funds, they make investments in securities. So it's a kind of indirect investment, ठीक है. It's a kind of indirect investment. इक्विटी ओरिएंटेड स्कीम्स क्या होती हैं? दे इन्वेस्ट इन दी इक्विटी और इक्विटी इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स. किसमें इन्वेस्ट करते हैं? इक्विटी इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स में. क्लोज एंडेड स्कीम्स क्या होती हैं? देयर इज अ फिक्स टाइम फॉर एंटरिंग एंड एग्जिट, ठीक है. ये नहीं कि जब आपकी मर्जी है तब आप आएंगे और तब आप जाएंगे, राइट. देयर इज नो सच थिंग लाइक दैट, ओके. देयर इज अ फिक्स्ड टाइम फॉर इट. एक क्या है आपका? फिक्स टाइम है, ठीक है. सो ये तो आपको याद ही रखना पड़ेगा. दिस हैज टू बी रिमेंबर्ड. देयर इज नो लॉजिक ओवर हियर. Let us see that. So for index funds and exchange traded funds, ठीक है, index and exchange traded funds which are related to stock exchange, the base expense ratio 0.9%. Fund of funds which are investing largely in these kind of funds, index and ETF, that will also have 0.9%. So that means index or ETF में 0.9%. Fund of funds investing 65%, more than 65% in equity oriented, will have their limits reduced to 2.1%. यहाँ पे ज़्यादा खर्चा क्यों है भाई? Because equity oriented schemes, they are risky proposition, ठीक है. They are really risky. So over here you have to be very cautious, and the administration fees also increases. So remember 2.1%. Close ended will also have tighter caps. So equity oriented close-ended will now have a base expense of 1%. Why? The close-ended has got lesser base expense than this one, because close-ended में क्या होता है? If the customer has invested once, he cannot go out, ठीक है. There would be a fixed time limit. So risk जो है, risk composition थोड़ा कम हो जाता है. I hope you remember these limits, ठीक है. आपको ये limits याद रहेंगी. Now moving forward, SEBI recently rationalized the brokerage limit by separating the statutory levies from the brokerage component. Now, under the revised framework, which of the following correctly represents the present caps for the cash market and derivative segment? आपके कैश मार्केट और डेरिवेटिव सेगमेंट के लिए इन्होंने ब्रोकरेज कैप्स को कम किया है. सो व्हाट हैज बीन द परसेंटेज? विल यू टेल मी द आंसर? Cash market and derivative segment. Okay, good. This is, so in cash market transactions, the earlier brokerage was 12 basis points, but this has now been reduced to 6 basis points, and for the derivatives it has brought down to 2 basis points. यहाँ पे आपकी लिमिट लगा दी गई है. Now next is, in December 2025, the RBI approved a shift from flat rate to a risk-based deposit insurance premium framework. In this context, what is the maximum insurance premium that the DICGC is legally permitted to levy per 100 of assessable deposits with prior approval of RBI? So because now the shift is gone to रिस्क बेस्ड प्रीमियम, ठीक है. रिस्क बेस्ड प्रीमियम पे शिफ्ट आपका चला गया है. सो व्हाट इज द मैक्सिमम प्रीमियम दैट द DICGC कैन चार्ज? आई लेट मी टेल यू द ऑप्शन. 10 पैसे पर 100, 12 पैसे पर 100, 13 पैसे पर 100, 15 पैसे पर 100 और 20 पैसे पर 100. गिव मी द आंसर. Satyarth, Abhigyan, Isha. Okay. You guys think B? Okay. Let us see that. Correct answer is 15 paise. See, what you are talking about is the current charge. What I was asking about, what is the maximum legally permissible premium that DICGC can charge? ठीक है? I hope you get the difference. So corporation can raise 15 paisa per 100. Can. Focus on the word. Can. Fine. So yes, this is the maximum one. अभी हम क्या चार्ज कर रहे हैं? 12 पैसे per 100. Okay, but we are thinking that let us change to the risk-based approach. Risk-based approach means the banks which are more risky, we will charge more from them. The banks which are less risky, we are going to charge less from them. Okay, the Securities Exchange Board of India at its 212th board meeting approved a proposal to revise the threshold for classification as a high value debt listed entities. What is the revised threshold for this? Easy question. From now onwards, you will see just one-liner questions. ठीक है? The questions will not be tough. Tell me, what is the revised threshold? Good. It is 5,000 crores. What is a high value debt listed entity? See, पहले threshold कम था. ठीक है? So over here, as a entity, as a listed entity, when you are issuing the debts, there would be higher regulatory requirements onto you. अब मान लीजिए, if I have said that you will be classified as this particular entity if you have the threshold of 1,000 crore. So आपके पास में compliance के लिए खर्चे बढ़ जाएंगे, right? You have to comply more. So SEBI has said that we believe in ease of doing business. We also want that more and more entities should issue debt. ठीक है, ज़्यादा entities आपकी debt issue करें, compliance burden कम हो, so that the debt market also becomes very well developed. Okay, now let's see question number 12. As per the RBI's recent decision, banks in India and their overseas branches, they are permitted to lend in Indian rupees to residents of which of the following group of countries? Banks in India and their overseas branches. Please focus. They are permitted to lend in Indian rupees. ठीक है, we are not talking about lending in foreign currency. हम foreign currency में lending के बारे में बात नहीं कर रहे हैं. We are talking about lending in Indian rupees, right? Which of the following group of countries has been made eligible for this? Bangladesh, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, Bhutan, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Maldives, Bhutan, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Bhutan, Bangladesh and Nepal. I hope the question remains very easy because of the political situations that we are having. Yes, so Abhigyan, Satya, Tisha, good. Fine. Bhutan, Nepal and Sri Lanka, they all are friendly neighboring countries to us, right? And that is why we are extending this kind of facility with them. This also reduces our, what you can say, the kind of dependent we are on the forex. That is also something that gets reduced with it, and obviously we will be able to settle our trade transactions in Indian rupees. So that is a win-win situation for us. ठीक है, it leads to internationalization of rupee also. ठीक है, ये बात आप याद रखेंगे. Now question number 13, let us see that RBI has decided to extend the time period for repatriation of funds from foreign currency accounts of exporters maintained in IFSC. What is the revised time limit? From 1 month to 2 months, from 15 days to 1 month, from 1 month to 3 months, from 3 months to 6 months, or from 1 month to 6 months. What has been done? So what we are doing over here, we have installed the ease of doing business for our exporters. हमने ease of doing business impose किया है हमारे exporters के लिए. We have said that if you have the accounts in IFSC, we are allowing you a time limit to get your money back in India. ठीक है, आपने भाई foreign currency में पैसा कमाया है, we want that money back in India, but we are allowing you a time. Why we are allowing you that particular time? The reason being, we understand you are an exporter and you might need to import also few of your items. If your money would be in the similar bank account, it will be easy for you to do the trade. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे आपका जो है टाइम लिमिट कम किया, ज़्यादा किया गया है. ओके, क्या क्या आंसर्स मिले हैं हमें? एक ही जवाब क्यों नहीं मिला है? Why there is confusion? So the correct answer is over here. See, that is 1 month to 3 months. ठीक है, क्या हुआ है आपका? 1 month to 3 months. Okay. Now let us see the next thing. The RBI has decided to remove the existing ceiling on the bank loans to the corporate entities. ठीक है? Under the earlier framework, was the maximum amount that a single entity could borrow from the entire banking system without attracting the additional regulatory requirement. क्या था भाई? Tell me that. Why I feel like there is a framing mistake in this, but anyway. You'd like to answer this particular question? RBI has decided to remove the existing ceiling on the bank loans to the corporate entities. Decided to remove existing ceiling. What is the ceiling over here? What is the ceiling amount? Should not be confused about it. When you know something, just tell that very upfront. So yes, earlier RBI had imposed 10,000 crore ceiling on total bank exposure to a single corporate entity across the banking sector. But now RBI is trying to change that up. Okay? So yes, 10,000 crore was the ceiling. Now let us see. The RBI has eased compliance requirement for small value exporters and importers by simplifying the reconciliation under export and import data processing and monitoring system. Okay? Under the revised rules, the banks may reconcile and close entries based on a declaration from the exporter or importer when the value per bill is. Again, this is ease of doing related thing. ठीक है, ease of doing वाला काम है ये. और यहाँ पे आप क्या कह रहे हैं कि आप डिक्लेरेशन पे ही काम कर देंगे अगर बिल का वैल्यू कम है तो. देखो, व्हाई टू कॉम्प्लिकेट थिंग्स. ठीक है, अगर बिल का वैल्यू इतना ज्यादा नहीं है तो डू द वर्क एट योर ओन पेस, right? So that's what bank has done over here. What is the amount? Less than or equal to 0.10 crore per bill, that is 10 lakh rupees. अगर आपका बिल का वैल्यू इससे कम है, so reconciliation can be done on the basis of the declaration also. Self declaration आओ बताओ और जाओ. ठीक है, that is what RBI has proposed for the importers and exporters. ठीक है. Moving forward, the Finance Industry Development Council FIDC, which has been granted the self-regulatory organization status by the RBI, represents which type of institutions? The options are banks, primary cooperative banks, NBFCs, HFCs, microfinance institution. What is a self-regulatory organization? Self-regulatory organization क्या होती है? So between regulator and the regulated, that means your financial institutions, there is an SRO which helps in framing, what you can say, telling what the industry opinion is to the regulator. What they also do is they help to implement the guidelines also. So kind of a mediator which acts as an implementer also. Okay? It is a kind of mediator who acts as implementer also. So FIDC, which has been granted a SRO status by the RBI, represents which type of institution? Tell me the answer. Yes, so this is for NBFCs. Good. ये किसके लिए है? NBFCs के लिए. Now with effect from October 1st, 2025, the RBI has revised the limits on loan against shares and IPO financing for individuals. Which of the following correctly states the revised limit? क्या बोल रहे हैं आपको कि आप listed shares के against कितना loan ले सकते हैं? And what is the amount for which the banking sector can give you finance for IPO? What is the limit? What is the limit? Yes, so loan against share as an individual, you can take 1 crore. IPO financing has been increased to 25 lakh. IPO financing कितनी बढ़ा दी गई है? 25 lakh. और लोन कितना आप ले सकते हैं against listed shares? That is going to be 1 crore. कितना? 1 crore. Now next is, with effect from April 1st, 2026, the RBI has introduced tiered loan to value norms for gold loans and revised repayment conditions. Which of the following statement is correct? So gold loans above 5 lakh will carry loan to value of 80%. Gold loans up to 2.5 lakh will have a loan to value of 90%. Gold loans between 2.5 and 5 lakh will have a loan to value of 75%. Gold loans above 5 lakh will have a maximum loan to value of 75%. Bullet repayments must repay both principal and interest within 12 months. A uniform LTV of 85% will apply. Which one of the following is the correct one? 18th का कौन सा जवाब सही होगा? What do you think? Good. So that is 18th D Option D. This is the structured loan to value what the RBI has set. RBI has prescribed the tiered loan to value ratio that okay, what is the collateral value that has been provided, कितना सोना पे आपको कितना लोन मिलेगा, right? So up to 2.5 lakh, 85%, this is maximum. 2.5 to 5 lakhs, 80% maximum, and above than 5 lakh if you are going, 75% is the loan that you are going to get. ठीक है, इतना भी ज्यादा नहीं बताना है हमें, just wait for that. Good. But anyway, it's very good that you know these particular what you can say answers. Mitra is a recently launched digital platform. Who has launched Mitra platform? किसने launch किया है? The another question that can be formed on this piece of news is that for what purpose this has been launched. ठीक है, किस purpose के लिए इनको launch किया गया है? That can also be the question from you. So question number 19, what is the answer, guys? Yes, it is SEBI. क्या है? SEBI. So Mitra, mutual fund investment tracing and retrieval assistant. Mutual fund investment tracing and retrieval assistant. Remember that this platform has been launched by SEBI, developed by mutual fund registrars and transfer agents under the SEBI's initiative. Objective is to help the investors and legal heirs to trace, identify, reclaim inactive or the unclaimed mutual fund portfolios. Is that fine? Now next we have under the recent integration of Bharat Bill Pay with the Forex retail platform, customers of which of the following banks will be able to initially purchase US dollars digitally through the system? HDFC, Punjab National, Axis Bank, Bank of Baroda, Canara Bank.